Okay, so instead of talking about validity and arguments and such, I wanted to say a few more things about the truth functional connectives. A few, maybe two episodes ago, we saw that the expression on the left and the expression on the right are truth value equivalent, and so we now have a formal way of expressing that, mainly with the biconditional. So if you remember, the biconditional just says that it's true when the two things have the same truth value. Well, since they always have the same truth value, everything that you read down underneath the biconditional when you do out the truth table will have truth. So that just expresses that they are truth value equivalent. And what this means further is that whenever you have an expression of the kind on the left, you can replace it with an expression of the kind on the right, and vice versa. What this means is that if you have, say, a grudge against disjunction and you strongly prefer conjunction or something like that, then you can always translate a sentence from disjunctive form to a truth value equivalent sentence expressed only in conjunction. So we'll see how to do that. So we take a sentence that's given with disjunctions, and we want to write this as something equivalent in conjunction. Well, I see that in order to change a disjunction to a conjunction like I have here, I have to have a negation sign which is applied to the disjunction. Well, this is what's called the main connective. It's the thing that sort of glues the sentence together. You can also think of it as the last thing that you evaluate when you do the truth table. And it basically gives you what the sentence means in a sense. It's sort of the whole sentence has the form of this whole thing over here or this thing. So we need to negate the main connective, the disjunction there, in order to translate it into conjunction. But we can't just negate something or we change the truth values, and we're no longer dealing with the same sentence that we wanted to express with conjunction. So instead, this is something that I didn't remark before, but it should be sufficiently obvious that when you double negate something, you don't change it. So if you negate something, you flip the truth values, you negate it again, and you flip them back to where you started. So double negation doesn't change anything. So I go ahead and double negate this expression. And so now I have a negation applied to the disjunction. So what I do is essentially treat this as my whole left-hand side. It's kind of like this P. This is sort of the stuff that's on the left of my main connective. And then this not R is like the Q, it's the stuff that's on the right-hand side. So I see that when I shift from disjunction to conjunction, I drop that negation from outside, and then I put it in front of the P and the Q, and I switch my or to and. So I want to do the same thing here. I want to drop the negation, put it in front of my left-hand stuff, change the or to an and then negate the right-hand stuff. So in order to do that, well, the first thing I do is I just carry this negation down, the first negation, because it doesn't get affected. I'm only pushing this negation here into the whole thing. So this doesn't change. I drop it down, and since I want to drop this negation out, I just write the square brackets, and by the way, the square brackets aren't really different from the parentheses. I just alternate between them so that it's easy to see what gets paired up with what. If you only have parentheses, then it can get excessively confusing. So there's no deep reason for having brackets instead of parentheses. But so anyway, I dropped the, I carried down this negation, I dropped this one out, I got my square brackets, and now I want to apply a negation to the left-hand side stuff, so I negate, and then I just copy back down what I have on the left-hand side, which is P or Q, and then I change my disjunction to conjunction, and then I negate the stuff that's on the right-hand side, so I have a negation of the negation of R. And you might observe that, well, if the negation of a double negation doesn't change anything, so I might as well just drop the double negation and show fine. I can do that. And then I want to do one more step because I still have a negation, so I want to get rid of that negation. And it's already in the form that I have up here, so it was a very fortuitous example. And so I just change this into that. And I get that as a final result. And so that's generally how you would go about changing any disjunction into a conjunction, and you should probably find examples like this on the internet elsewhere to practice. You can also go from conjunction to disjunction. So if you have a grudge against conjunction and you want to change it into disjunction, then you can always do that. And I won't use such a complicated example this time, but I'll just do it with P and Q. So again, I see that I need negation symbols in order to go from conjunction to disjunction, but I need them in front of each particular propositional variable. So I negate and that doesn't change anything because it's double negation in front of P, which is just as good as P, same thing for Q. And then I see that in order to go from and to or, I have to pull a negation out, which means that going from this to this, I drop a negation from in front of P and Q, and then I add one to the outside of the parentheses. So I add a negation outside the parentheses, and then drop one of the negations from each of P and Q, so I get not P, change the and to an or, not Q, just one negation, and I have switched from P and Q to a truth value equivalence expression in terms of disjunction. So in the next sort of episode, we'll see how to do this also with the conditional, and that should be it.